Hello everybody, this is Mayukh from FourSquare Migration. Today I am going to talk about all the news that came out yesterday regarding the state nomination for Victoria and the options potential applicants have and what pathway should be occupations that have missed out for this financial year look at in terms of progressing their visa applications or permanent visa applications for Australia. So basically, Victoria has come out with a slightly revamped, not slightly, I would say major revamp in terms of the eligibility requirements and the occupation listing for their 491 and 190. In terms of talking about the quotas for the state nomination, I think Victoria's got in excess of 3,000 places for 190 and a mere 500 places for the 491. So basically, by the looks of it, they will be prioritizing 190 applications and the 491 will be limited. And I believe exceptional applications will only be nominated for 491. Now, what are the changes for the 190 and 491? The major changes from the information that was released yesterday would be that they've removed the minimum work requirements. Previously, it stood at 6 months for 190 and also 3 months for the 491. Also, sticking with the employment part, they've removed the requirement for applicants to have been employed for at least 20 hours. So as long as you're working in your nominated occupation in the target sectors as mentioned by the state government, you should be eligible to apply. Now, what are the target sectors? They're looking at STEM occupations: science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and medicine. So I think it's a bit of relief for nurses in that regard. And also, I think this is more similar to what Victoria had in the past, where they had very select occupations to apply for. In relation to cyber security and ICT occupations, as long as you're working as a cyber specialist or cybersecurity specialist, you should be eligible for the 190, and there's no requirement for you to be working in a IT sector to be eligible. So as long as you're working as an ICT security specialist or a cyber specialist in any of the target sectors, you should be eligible to apply for the 190 nomination. In regards to the 491, it's slightly different for ICT occupations. As long as you're working in any ICT occupation and working in the target sectors as mentioned by the Victorian State Government, you should be eligible to apply for the 491. So in that regard, great opportunity for 491 ICT occupants, applicants, if you're working in your nominated occupation or closely related occupation. Now, the most queries I had yesterday was for trade occupations and occupations that were not on the not on occupations that were not included by Victoria yesterday. So what pathways do you have? So trade occupation: chefs, metal fabricators, cooks, and the whole range of other occupational accountants and everyone. My advice would be to seriously consider looking at employer sponsored pathway, because at least that way, if you get the ball rolling, you can start the process to become eligible for a 191 visa, 186 visa in the future, whichever path, depending on the pathway you take. Or also, what you need to take into account is just because you go on a 482 visa doesn't stop you from applying for a 190 or a 491 should Victoria include those occupations in the future in the state nominated occupations. So consider the 491, consider the not the 491, 494, 482, if you've got 2 years of experience in your occupation and relevant qualifications and or skill assessment depending on your individual circumstances. So that's something to consider. Now, also for chefs and other occupations, it might be worth considering relocating to different states. Say, for example, Tasmania. If you work in a nominated occupation for 6 months full time, you should be eligible to apply for the state nominated 190 visa from Tasmania. So that's an option for chefs or cooks. Also, an option is relocating to a regional NSW, because last financial year, though the requirement stated that you had to be living and working in regional NSW for a period of 12 months and also working in nominated occupations, NSW regional NSW bodies decided or facilitated applicants who had lived for just 2 or 3 months, and so it's worth taking that step as well. So consider those options. As I said, the occupation or the list of occupations nominated by Victoria for this financial year might change, because it's an ongoing thing. They might get back to the drawing boards in the near future and say we are going to add a few other occupations, and that might facilitate your pathway for a 491 or 190 visa. But in the meantime, it is advisable to consider other options, and there are options available, but you just need to be smart and take the opportunity as it comes. So if you've got any questions regarding any of these, feel free to contact us, and we are more than happy to assist you. Thank you and have a good day.